it doesn't matter how old you are, where you are in your life. I started changing my life at 40 when I left corporate. At 50, I got a master's degree, and here I am almost 60 reinventing myself. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do because of your age or you're a woman, whatever. Your job is to step into the thing that you're being called to and show up and shine. And as I always say, you let all of who you are be given to the world because you were born full and your job is to die empty.
Has your life, your dreams been interrupted? Good news. It is possible to reinvent our lives. People are doing it every day, and some are brave enough to share the struggles, disappointments, and challenges. If you are looking for a new beginning, a do-over, or to rediscover your passion, maybe even find a new one, then grab a cup of coffee and let's talk. Interrupted, Act 2, Reinventing Your Legacy, with your host, Coach Lori.
Dorothy-Inez Breazell is a confidence and well-being coach. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Lori.
I am so excited to hear so much of your story. We always start with how awesome your life is right now and all the things that you are doing.
The biggest thing that's happening in my life right now, Lori, is this addition, stepping into my healing gifts. I've had gifts as a healer probably ever since I was a little girl, but coming out of the faith tradition that I was in, these gifts began to evolve. In my faith tradition, I would be told those gifts are of the devil. I was holding on to my gifts. I was not expressing them for fears that what if they're right? What if these are the devil? And now that I've evolved in my spiritual journey and my relationship with God, I have come to accept and embrace my gifts. So something that was completely unexpected is I am opening, it's called the Shine Sanctuary here in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. It is a center for sacred beauty and well-being for women. It is under the umbrella of my company, which is the Shine Collective. Shine Collective, we offer the Shine Sanctuary, which is a sacred space for healing for women. We have personal development classes that are hosted by myself as well as other experts in the community. And then we have a sisterhood of women that fall under that, the actual Shine Collective community.
I know that when I've seen you on Facebook, I've followed you for a long time. I met you in person before you moved away. You always shine since day one. But I have noticed something different. I love that.
I know you were in Los Angeles before you went to Minnesota. Can you tell us about that?
I was in Los Angeles going to seminary. I had moved from Seattle to seminary. Being who I am, I was there for a year. Dorothy-Inez was not well received because she asked a lot of questions. I did 1 year in seminary, and while at the time it was a very traumatic experience for me to be in that environment, I went from a liberal Catholic seminary in Seattle to an evangelical seminary in Orange County. And I had no idea what evangelical meant. I just thought evangelical meant these are people who are going to go out and share Jesus. But Dorothy-Inez is quite liberal, so I didn't fit in there. But it was an experience that had to happen because without that experience, I would not be where I am today. I had to go through that because that was the beginning of the undoing of my faith. And it was it was something that had to happen.
So Dorothy-Inez, take us back to before this.
Before I had the transformation, I was actually at the age of 40. I'm just going to take you back just a little bit, just to give a little context to my journey. So I'd been in corporate for 25 years, doing successful, almost at the 100K mark. I listened to this video by Les Brown. Now, I've been playing that video for years for all of my people who were on my teams. I don't know what happened, Lori, but at some point I actually heard the video for myself, and it was called This Is Your Decade. And Les Brown talked about the graveyard being the richest place on the planet. You might be wondering, well, how is the graveyard the richest place on the planet? The reason the graveyard is the richest place on the planet is because so many people die with their dreams and inventions left inside. There's so many unfulfilled dreams that people didn't do because they were scared or somebody told them it wasn't possible. And you see, in that moment, I decided I'm not going to make the graveyard any richer. And so I began to put together a plan. I had a bachelor's degree that I had started in my 30s that I had never completed because I was the queen of starting things and never finishing them. I'm sure some listeners can relate to that. That was the first thing I did. So at the age of 40, I graduated with my bachelor's in public relations and communications, quit my job at corporate, and I've never looked back. I went to school to become a makeup artist in Los Angeles. It was something I'd always dreamed of. You know, I live in the Twin Cities here in Minneapolis, and my dream was to work for Prince, to work with Prince as a singer, be one of his girls group. And I was like, well, if Prince doesn't take me as a singer, I'll be a makeup artist. So I had to prepare for that. And I went to school and became a makeup artist, became pretty successful at that. That's when the journey began in 2010. I was just Inez at that time. I hired a coach and she said, well, what do you want to call your business? And I said, well, let me talk to God. He's the one who gave me this inspiration. And God came back and he was like, I want you to change your name from Inez to Dorothy-Inez. A lot of times people think my first name's Dorothy, but it's actually Dorothy-Inez said together. And I said, but God, I hate that name Dorothy because Dorothy is the name of the woman who abandoned me at the age of 4. I didn't want her name, but God said, remember what your name means. Dorothy means gift of God, and Inez means with a pure heart. And that is who I am calling you to be, because at the time of that I began my journey, I wasn't a gift of God with a pure heart. I had a lot of unforgiveness, a lot of anger in my heart for how I grew up, but God used all this work that I had to go through to help me get to where I am today. Even that Bible college, going to seminary was a part. I had to be broken down so that I could be built up to do the work that I'm here to do. And all the work that I do comes from a deeply spiritual place. I don't teach confidence, that fake it till you make it. That's a start, but I teach it from a deeper place. I don't teach beauty. Oh, let's put on a mask. I don't teach it from an external place. Beauty is an internal thing, and I help you express that on the outside. So confidence and beauty, I present them both in a different way. It all began from this journey of Dorothy-Inez feeling angry, unforgiveness, never accepted, never being good enough, never knowing enough. It's been 15 years, 13 years. I've been on this journey.
I see that it's such a process. Can you give us some tips?
The biggest thing that helped me get there was learning to love myself. In our culture, it's becoming more prominent now, but in the day and age I grew up, and especially coming out of Christian tradition, loving yourself, that is a sin, girl. You are vain if you love yourself. That's bad. You're supposed to put everybody else before you, but we misunderstand. Scripture says, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, first I had to love myself. And when I began to love myself, I had to do a lot of inner work. I employed the help of a counselor as well, who is still my counselor to this day. He lives in Savannah, Georgia. I tell him, me and you started telehealth because we've been telehealthing it because it wasn't legal. But I said, I swear I won't tell a counselor. Having a coach, being able to get real with your shit, being able to look at yourself in the mirror, be honest with what's going on. You have to be willing to look at the hard part, feel and release, and try some things that you've never tried before. I can't tell you how many weird things, looked weird on the outside, but like mirror work. That was one of the weirdest things I ever did. Getting in front of a mirror, looking yourself in the eyes, telling yourself, I loved myself, and to speak life over myself, because I was used to speaking death, things that just weren't good. Girl, you're this, you're not good. I'm not this, I'm not that. How many women still do that today, Lori? We can't even take a compliment. I say, oh, I love your hair, Lori. Oh, I just got out of the bed. And girl, I didn't ask you that. Just say thank you. It was just a lot of inner work, because when I learned to love myself, then I could begin to step into the great work I was called to, or am called to, because I do it from a more whole place. I'm whole now versus before I was half of myself.
So many golden nuggets. One of the things about self-care is you are so right. I often will say to someone, it's okay to just say thank you. You invested in yourself. You took classes, you got a coach, you got a counselor. So often I hear women say, I have this dream. And then they look into the thing that could make their dream possible, and immediately they say, I can't afford it.
Yeah. And that's a really huge mindset shift, because at the end of the day, this is going to be a hard truth. It's really not that you can't afford it. What do you value? When you value yourself, you can afford anything, because whatever we value, that's what we invest in. And especially women, I get that all the time. It's one of the most frustrating things I encounter with women, because I will see them say to me, I can't afford your service, but if their kid needed these $500 shoes, or their kid needed to go on some type of retreat that costs $5,000, oh, they will find that money. If somebody outside of themselves needs that same amount of money, they will make it happen. And what they don't do is they don't get creative. Number one, it takes faith. Stepping into your faith and believing. So many women, oh, I'm waiting on God, because I deal with a lot of spiritual women, Christian women. Oh, I'm waiting on God. No, God is waiting on you to make a move, girl. You've got to be in action, and then you tap into your creativity. If somebody was holding someone you love ransom, trust and believe, you will go ask your friends, you will start selling things, you will find that $10,000 ransom for someone else. And so investing in yourself, like Lori said, literally is a matter of life and death. Because if you don't invest in yourself, you will be in the exact same place a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We invest in what's important to us. It's that simple.
Someone listening is like, how do I get from here where I won't invest? And one thing I see, people will have their coffee, their nails, their eyelashes, but they won't
I wasn't going to say it, but I'll let you say it.
They won't invest in a program that helps them share their story or helps them go to school. They maybe feel like they should get it for free, but the value is investing. The value is in saying, I'm worth it. How do we get from there to, I am going to take that step and invest in me?
It's so simple. It's literally a decision. We look at people who are successful and we go, why are they successful and I'm not? I used to be one of those people, and I would be like, man, I have more education than she does, because I have about every degree there is in the book. She doesn't even have a degree. How is she more successful than me? Because she made a decision. She made a decision, and it's that simple. And you know what? And you make the decision in spite of the fear. Is it going to be like, oh, I'm going to make the decision and it's not going to have any fear? No, you're going to make the decision and you're going to make it scared. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get into action. Okay. That's how you're going to do it. And let me just tell you, this wellness center that I'm opening, the Shine Sanctuary, Lori, I had no intentions of opening a physical space. I have been working online as a coach since 2010. This opportunity came to me out of the blue. I was like, I don't want a physical space. Oh, this is a monthly commitment to paying a rent. I have to get people in there every month. I could have said to myself, oh, I don't need another bill. But then, being who I am, I stepped into possibility. What would be possible if I said yes? Oh, you've got 2 conference rooms that you can work. There's growth. There's growth in that. And when I say yes, because I don't know how I'm going to do it, I open the door for spirit to work a miracle in my life. Because see, how many times have we said, man, she seems so lucky because she opens herself up to possibility for miracles to happen. This is what we want to do, is we want to open ourselves up to possibilities.
Coach Lori here. I am not anti-aging. I am all about aging gracefully. Did you know we stop making collagen at a certain age? And did you know powdered collagen has to go through your whole digestive system? So I am a big fan of Glow Liquid Collagen. It helps me age gracefully, inside and out. To order, check the link below. By the way, if you order 2 at the same time, free shipping. Or if you would like to be an affiliate, make a little extra cash, click the affiliate link.
This is what we want to do, is we want to open ourselves up to possibilities, because what happened within 3 days of signing that agreement, the rent showed up, the deposit showed up. And what did it do? It built my faith. You know how you said, man, I see you showing up differently, Dorothy-Inez. It's because I'm seeing what happens when I raise my vibration to the level that spirit is operating. When I begin to see myself as God sees me, lacking nothing, perfect, whole, and complete, what begins to come in my life shifts. And the same is for anyone listening. You have to decide. You have to see where you are going, where you want to go, and step into it, trusting, knowing that it's all going to work out.
Almost every decision I made to invest in myself was terrifying. I didn't know how. I just knew I had to step and the how would show up.
When we're trying to move into the direction of our soul's calling, it's so important to have community, to have people around you that are also moving into their soul's calling, because you inspire each other, you push each other, you speak life over each other. Because when you hang around people that are always in the woes of life, oh, life sucks. Oh, the pandemic. I saw the pandemic as a blessing, that part that we got to stay home, because the world had to slow down. You got to experience community. Even 9/11. Do you remember how much community we felt? The power of that. You can learn from each other in community. You have people who got your back in community. I am all about sisterhood. Having been a military spouse, every city I go into, I have created community. And community, you look at the word, it's common unity. I have created common unities in every city I've lived in, and sisterhood, because some of us, especially women, I think it's just natural for us as women to gather, to have a sacred space where we can share our joys, the things we struggle with. Can you imagine if you were afraid? Imagine if you had like a tribe behind you saying, girl, you got this. Even though you're scared, you're believing your own hype, and you do the damn thing. That's the power of being in community. It's what happens. We can do more together than we can all by ourselves. I remember in Seattle, this is where sisterhood really became very apparent, is how we used each other's resources. You might have a space like me. I have these conference rooms, and we might be able to help each other with that. And then so-and-so over here, she's got PA equipment, and so-and-so over here, she knows a lot of people, and this one over here. And we bring all of our collective knowledge and skill sets together, and we help each other create our dreams. And that's what we did. And I've taken that, what I learned from being a part of that community, to every city that I work in, and we help each other.
Dorothy-Inez, you have blessed my heart because you speak my language. Because of what you said, one of my commitments is to be that for other people. Sometimes people look at your business as you just trying to make money. But the truth is, I know that I believe when someone invests in themselves, they will get so many more blessings. That's how economy works. We spend money to make money.
What you're describing is the law of circulation. People think when they do something, they invest. Really love what you brought up. We're just about making money. You see, our gifts have value. Our gifts make room for us. By me being obedient to the call on my life, the way that I'm blessed is that I'm blessed with financial resources that allow me to take care of my family, that allow me to continue to create resources for you and to get trainings that benefit the people that serve. When people invest in themselves through me, they are also investing in the lives of other women, because other women that come after them are blessed because maybe I got an extra training or you got an extra training. I'm opening this space. I went into this space. I did not have the financial resources. I am starting all over. And my girlfriend said, I was telling her, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. The rent and the deposit showed up, but I need this equipment and that equipment. She says, Dorothy-Inez, can I help you? This is power. This is community stepping up. Watch this. Never met this woman. She lives in Salt Lake City area. Never met her, but we have been sisters in heart and spirit since the pandemic. She says, Dorothy-Inez, I would like to do a GoFundMe for you. Oh my gosh. I freaked out because I was like, no way. I can't ask people for money. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. You give so much to other people. This is your time to receive, but no, I can't ask them for money. See, I had a mindset thing. I ended up getting coaching, and funny, the two burly guys. And during the coaching, they're crying because we're all, like the breakthroughs that are coming through in this coaching. I allowed my sister to create a GoFundMe account for this Shine Sanctuary. Do you know my friends have funded the Shine Sanctuary? This is the power of sisterhood and community coming together. The power of being open to coach, to receive not only the coaching, but for me to be able to receive financial blessings. I didn't realize I had an issue around receiving, but this is what happens when you're in community with people who love you, who see you and know what's possible for you, and they believe in the work that you do. So these people invested. Some of these people will never get to come to the Shine Collective, Lori, but they know that their dollars are going to help another woman that they may never know. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. So we have to, as women, get out of, oh, that's too expensive, because going back to, you'll invest in something for somebody else. You'll make sure you got that $300 or $400 hairstyle. You're getting those $100 nails done every week. You'll invest in those types of things. But the thing you should invest most in is you, because you are going to make a difference in every encounter that you have. You're in two roles. You're either teacher or student. Every encounter is here to help you grow, whether you perceive it as good or bad. It is here to help you grow and evolve into the human you were born to be on this planet.
Dorothy-Inez, I could listen to you all day. It is time to wrap up. I always say, what do you want people to know? I feel like you've kind of covered that. But if you were to sum up what you really want people to walk away with today, what would that be?
Is that they matter. And because you matter, you must show up for your life and for your calling. You must find out who you are, why you are here. and step into it and do whatever it takes to make it happen, because you are here on assignment. There is someone waiting for you to show up. Just don't let anybody dim your light. Don't let anyone dim your light. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Live in the now, because if we learn nothing else from the way life is going right now, all we have is the present, and it is a gift. Live it, own it, and just be all that you were meant to be and shine. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you are in your life. I started changing my life at 30. I started changing my life at 40, when I left corporate. At 50, I got a master's degree, and here I am almost 60, reinventing myself. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do because of your age or you're a woman, whatever. Your job is to step into the thing that you're being called to and show up and shine. And as I always say, you let all of who you are be given to the world, because you were born full and your job is to die empty. I want so much more for people. And even I've been there, of the place of living from lack and limitation. And over, God has shown me, you take the first step, which is your sacred yes, and then I will do the rest. But you've got to be in action. Oh, I'm waiting on the Lord. No, girl, the Lord is waiting on you. Get into action. Stop doing all the talking.
This is so great. Okay. So what are you reading, or what do you recommend?
What am I reading? Right now, what I just pulled out to work on is Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes.
I know people are going to want to find you. How can they find you?
Best place to find me is on Facebook. That's where I get most of my engagement, but I'm also on Instagram. Haven't mastered that, but you can find me there at Dorothy-Inez, Dorothy-Inez, or Dorothy-Inez, all one word, and then DorothyInez.com. All one word.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori, for having me.
Such wisdom.
Have you heard if not now, when? If not you, then who? Are you being prompted to write a book, to create a podcast? Check out Leaving a Legacy at www.coachlaurie, that's Coach, LAURIE.com. And let's get started on your second act now. 3 things we learned from Dorothy-Inez. Be open to possibilities. Do your work and love yourself. Say yes. Don't worry about the how, just worry about the yes.
If you love this podcast, here's a big ask. Will you share with your friends and family, subscribe, give us a review, and a 5-star rating so that others looking to reinvent their lives will be able to get the help they're looking for? Thank you in advance.